I am forever snorting cocaine and rapping. If I have a near beer, I'm near beer. And if I'm near beer, I'm close to tequila. And if I'm close to tequila, I'm adjacent to cocaine. Happiness lies within oneself, and the way to dig it out is cocaine. It's not the side effects of the cocaine. I'm thinking that it must be love. It's not too late to be grateful. It's not too late to be hateful. It's too late to be late again. The European canon is here. Everywhere I look, demons of the future on the battlegrounds of one's emotional plane. Of course, agreed Basil, if you read it carelessly and act on it irrationally or with the blind faith of a fanatic, it might very well lead to trouble. The nature is full of devices for eliminating anything that cannot master its environment. The words worship me are all important. The only excuse for using a drug of any sort, whether it's uh, genuine or epsom of salt, is to assist nature to overcome some obstacle to her proper functions. The drugs is that they fool you into trying to dodge the toil essential to spiritual and intellectual development, but they are not simply man traps. There is nothing in nature which cannot be used for our benefit. It is up to us to use it wisely. Now, in the work you have been doing in the last week, heroin might have helped you concentrate your mind, and cocaine to overcome the effects of fatigue. And the reason you did not use them was that a burnt child dreads fire. We had the same trouble with teaching Hermes and Dionysus to swim. They found themselves in danger of being drowned and thought the best way was to avoid going near the water, but that didn't help them to use their natural faculties to the best advantage. So I made them confront the sea again and again until they decided that the best way to avoid drowning was to learn how to deal with oceans in every detail. It sounds pretty obvious when you put it like that, yet while everyone agrees with me about the swimming, I am howled down on all sides when I apply the same principles to use of drugs. There's Ambien and alcohol, weird, and then there's Ambien mistaken for cocaine, weird. I, the unfortunate doctor, Polyakov, who then became addicted to morphine in February of this year, warn anyone who may suffer the same fate not to contempt to replace morphine with cocaine. Cocaine is a most foul and insidious poison. Yesterday, Anna barely managed to receive me with camphor injections, and today I am half dead. The decision seems rather unfair, I remarked. You have done all the work in this business. I get a wife out of it. Jones gets the credit. Pray what remains for you. For me, that said Sherlock Holmes, there still remains the cocaine bottle. And he stretched his long white hand up for it. The first 5 years Coca-Cola was made with cocaine. The first 5 years Coca-Cola was made with cocaine. For its first 5 years, Coca-Cola was made with cocaine. The original version of Coca-Cola contained a small amount of cocoa extract and therefore a trace of cocaine. It was eliminated early in the 20th century, though other extracts derived from cocoa leaves remain part of the drink to this day. Its creation was not the accidental concoction of an amateur experiment in his garden, but the deliberate and painstaking culmination of months of hard work by an experienced maker of quack remedies. Let these men sing out their songs. They've been walking all day long, all their fortunes spent and gone. Silver dollar in the subway station, quarters for the papers for jobs. I didn't recognize it as such then because I was only 14, 13 years old. But later, I found it a bit ironic that my first time seeing a woman in all her form and glory and saggy, drug-tainted tits arrived at the same exact time as my first introduction to death. I have done coke off the porcelain hacks, backs, and public bathroom toilets, but mirrored trays lend some fox class to inhaling cartilage eating drugs up your nose. The idea becomes alluring and a little more acceptable when mirrored trays are involved. Excuse me, sir, I will have some of that high class cocaine. Wonderful now. What was I doing? A deer playing chess with a Bogdan? Oh, good. He made me scrambled eggs and he gave me raw cocaine. What a champ. I'll get back to him. There's really no matter, no better way to G up your life in moments of dire need, other than maybe Vyvanse or cocaine or Molly or whatever. A guy, a spear, called it a cocaine brain. Neuroscientists have found that the prospect of making money stimulates the same primitive reward circuits in the brain that cocaine does. I was wondering if I was the only one who still wanted to grow and succeed, the only one who still believed in it all, ultimately in Thomas and in Spain, and no one really evil. They are just led astray by ignorance. Buddha, who said that Buddha was always right, or that the percentage of psychopaths was around the same figures in his time as it is in today's society in Spain. See, I grew pessimistic, unsure if reading the book would make any difference for the justice to prevail, law, order, females like psychopaths and criminals, fairy tales and vampires, bad guys, not the good guys. They are attracted to the bad guys. Rhyme after rhyme, it was becoming increasingly obvious that Adam had no understanding of business etiquette, business culture, or common sense. He was always awkward and embarrassing and seemed to have no grasp on any aspect of business. I began to wonder if he was taking drugs in secret, never ending, spitting, rapping, never ending, say it, spit it, spat it. At one particular moment, with my eyes closed, I was crying and asking the question over and over aloud. Does true love exist? Does true love exist in girls? Does true love exist? Does Sabrina love me? Does true love exist? Does true love exist? I had suddenly seen a flash, as if I was poking the devil in the dark, staring too long in the darkness until it looked back at me. As they say, I have never told anyone about this before. I tried to describe what I had seen that night in a windowless, dark and cold place deep inside under that bag, old building with my eyes closed. It made a half turn, flashing one of his eyes at me for a moment before disappearing again into the dark, as if it was nodding to me. I still get goosebumps years later when I try to describe it. I'm a cocaine addict.